the main antagonist of it, but it was a whole team. It was a whole organization. And I think that the majority of the organization, and I think he did maybe have some input on it, but there's a lot more moving parts that nobody's really talking about that were involved with silencing these girls, covering up evidence. And then the other guy who eventually became the head of security, he was a retired police officer. He was involved with hiding this information too. He was involved with keeping this information from getting to the police. He was involved with silencing witnesses. It was straight up police corruption.
Misconduct.
I would like to know who he was connected to in the Los Angeles Police Department that were helping him do this. Because the LAPD has never been known for being ethical. They beat the out of Rodney King. Then we had the riots and shit after that. I remember that. So it's just a shame that there's shitty people that have been elevated to those levels of power that have been able to suppress people who just weren't able to protect themselves.
So they basically knew about and did nothing.
Yeah. From what I gather from watching the episode and from listening to other interviews of people talking about their experiences, that there was evidence some of these celebrities did get caught in the act and nothing was ever done of it. The police absolutely knew about it because of their ties with this security officer working for Playboy. They didn't intervene at all. Could have just been a result of the times, because when you're looking back at the 70s and 80s, that's fucking ancient times now. But at the time, it's still illegal. It was illegal then, it's illegal now. So I don't know how they were able to have gotten away with it for so long, but it started coming out the late 90s, early 2000s, when people started actually publishing information about this and talking about their experiences. Then books started coming out. So it's crazy to see how they got away with it for so long.
But guys don't care. Guys don't care. He was like everyone's idol. They didn't really care. In fact, there's guys that think part of modeling is having sex at the Playboy Mansion. And in fact, they will say, well, what did you expect? You were going to the Playboy Mansion, as if part of the modeling job is to have orgies.
That was the mentality at the time.
That's just what people thought in general. You know, like if you were to complain, they're like, well, what do you think? It's the Playboy Mansion and it's about sex. It's about freedom. It's about, you know, doing all of these things. That's just what people assume happens at the Playboy Mansion. Now, when I was at the Playboy Mansion, they had already started doing parties where it wasn't exclusive celebrities. They would give us 10 tickets to sell. It was called the Friends and Family. We didn't have to, but we had the opportunity to sell 10 tickets for $1,000 each. So our friends and family could go to the mansion.
Oh, wow.
So I was never at any parties where it was like exclusive celebrities. By the time I got in, they were already doing like where other people could go, which makes it not as exclusive, right?
Okay.
But, you know, there's still celebrities there. And the celebrities approach you typically.
Yeah.
Like I had celebrities just like walk up. When you meet a celebrity, it's almost like you're not quite sure if it is the celebrity because you start seeing different angles of their face.
Right.
And it kind of looks like someone, but then you see another angle and you're like, no, that can't be. For example, the guy who plays a gay guy on Sex and the City approached me and I didn't recognize him right away. Or the guy that was the brother on Wonder Years, I didn't really recognize him right away. And he even like came up to the roped area and was like, come here. And I didn't know that you're not supposed to go to the rope, to the sides of the rope and interface with the fans or whatever. And they pushed him away. They said, no, move on.
Even now you mention him, both of those guys, I can't place a face to them, so I don't remember what they look like.
He was a has-been. He let Mini-Me in, though. Everyone knows Mini-Me, so. And Paris Hilton. So, you know, he like pick and chooses. But the point is, you can't really like, if you're behind the ropes and you're the in crowd, you don't stand on the side and talk with people on the outside.
Right. What's funny is when I was working at the club up in Tahoe and they'd have celebrity guest DJs, or they had the celebrity golf tournament. So there'd be all these celebrities. Their cabanas would be up in the backstage. So we would actually have to walk through them to get up to the catwalks where we were dancing. And a lot of these guys would get so mad because I was there performing. The girls in the audience would see me and they didn't give a shit about these celebrity guys. They saw me dancing and directed their energy and attention directly at me. These guys would get so fucking mad and they would ask the club manager, like, hey, can we make him go away? And he's like, no, he's an employee here. He's working. And they're like, oh. Then the girls that I go-voed with, they would be coming back and forth through the stage, and then celebrity guys would try to talk to the girls, and then they were just like, oh, they're like, no, it's okay. And then they would go back to the douchebag repellent. They're like, oh, no, that's my boyfriend. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they try to talk to the next girl, like, no, it's okay, that's my boyfriend. And they're just like, what the is going on here?
That's funny.
I love being able to protect my friends like that. That was really cool. But yeah, guys get hella weird when it comes to stuff like that because a lot of them are just so entitled, especially once they reach a certain level of celebrity. They think they could just do whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things that I can commend Playboy for was that Jackie Nett got drugged and raped outside of Playboy property, but she didn't go into a hotel room or anything. She was at a club or at a bar or something and got roofied. Then they took her to a room, and one of the guys that was there was one of the regulars at the Playboy club.
Okay.
When she had gotten back to the club, she had told them what had happened. And when that guy came into the club, she went after him. Obviously, they kept her from going after him, but the security got him, kicked him out, and then they pressed charges on him immediately. And the guys who did that to her all ended up being charged and went to jail, and she didn't get fired. So the fact that they were able to back her up like that and support her, I thought was really commendable, especially since she talked about how not all of the bunnies got that kind of treatment. Not all of them are protected that way.
Right. As far as protection, some of it was a little bit unrealistic. Like they said, the girls that got should have gotten counseling by Playboy. I don't know any company that does that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a reach that you do something wrong and Playboy is supposed to pay for your counseling. I mean, come on, like think about it. Like if you were to work at Hooters, any strip club, any restaurant chain, you do something that has nothing to do with them, basically. You met customers outside and they're supposed to fund your counseling because you're an employee there.
Right.
I mean, some of the stuff was like, I think that's like a bit exaggerating.
Yeah. Maybe clubs nowadays, not strip clubs, because strip clubs don't give a fuck about you whatsoever.
Or Hooters. I worked for Hooters too.
Or Hooters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any experience with them, but I know that more companies nowadays are offering some level of medical benefits. With that comes some mental health counseling that's available.
Yeah.
So to your point, it has nothing to do with the company. So why should the company be responsible for your rehabilitation from the things that you got yourself into?
Right. And they were new. They were new.
And they were new, yeah.
I also noticed I was like skipping ahead and because there's other podcasts of other girls and some of their stories aren't really adding up.
Exactly. And if it was my club and I had the means, I'd be like, yeah, I want you to be okay because we're like a family here and I want you to be better as soon as possible. But then also I want you to be better in the long term too. So that way this trauma doesn't come back to haunt you later on down the road. Hold on, you're cutting out again. Give it a sec.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Okay, now I hear you.
Was I? Now I forgot my thought. Sometimes I like ramble on a subject. Well, you know I have short-term memory loss, honey. I can tell you what happened years ago, but I can't tell you what happened 5 seconds ago. I don't know why.
Girl, I'm right there with you. I'm ADD like a